If you're like me, you want to make every dollar count when it comes to buying the right products. And so today we'll be testing out the medium strength thread lockers. We're going to see which one of these is the best value. I've had literally dozens of people ask me to do this test, so just want to say thank you for those that requested this. We'll be testing Permatex, JB Weld, Loctite, Pro-Seal, and vibra-tite. So if you're ever wondering which one of these medium strength thread lockers is the best, today's project should be pretty interesting. So the purpose of a thread locker is pretty straightforward. The objective is to keep the nut from backing off of a bolt, and oftentimes thread lockers are used when something is subject to a lot of vibration. So the first part of this test, there won't be any vibration, but what we're going to do for part 2 of this test is to attach this piece of steel to a lawnmower frame and allow it to be subject to a lot of vibration for several hours. After several hours, we're going to come back and then we're going to do a repeat strength measurement to see if there's been any change from the baseline. So anytime you're applying a thread locker, it's always important to shake up the thread locker because usually there is some form of a mixture and these ingredients tend to settle. So when I apply each one of these, I'm going to shake the thread locker for a little bit of time. The first part of this test is just basically to apply the thread locker to some threads. You can see this is really thick stuff. So what I'm going to have to do is sort of spread this around. So all I'm going to do is thread on this nut, and I'm not going to apply any sort of torque. I'm just going to get the nut all the way on the threads, and then I'm going to let it cure. I'm going to change out gloves after applying each one of these so I don't have any cross-contamination. So what I'll be doing now for the second set of bolts is I'll be using a torque wrench. I'll be torquing each one of these bolts down to 50 inch-pounds of torque. So the first test we'll be doing is to see how much force it takes to remove the nuts from these bolts that do not have any sort of a load applied to them. The second test will be measuring how much force it takes to remove the nuts from the bolts that have 50 inch-pounds of torque. Okay, Loctite did not hold with 10 inch-pounds of torque. Permatex moved at 20 inch-pounds. Okay, JB Weld just moved at 25 inch-pounds. Okay, vibra-tite just moved. Okay, Pro-Seal did too, 35 inch-pounds. So unfortunately my 1/4 inch torque wrench does not measure left threaded torque measurements. So what I'm going to do is actually improvise a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing is basically adding the weight to the end of the wrench, which applies force, and we can take a mathematical equation and measure what it would be in inch-pounds. And so I'm going to start off with 5 pounds plus the weight of this chain. This chain weighs roughly 1/2 pound, so this would be 5.5 pounds applied at the very end of this wrench. And we're going to go down the line and just gradually add 2.5 pound increments until each one of these fails. Okay, Permatex failed at 8 pounds. Okay, it just failed. 13 pounds. Okay, it's been 3 hours. We ran 2 full tanks of fuel through the engine, so I'm going to take this off. Okay, Pro Seal failed at 8 pounds. Okay, GB Weld failed, 8 pounds. All right, Loctite failed at 9 pounds. Okay, Permatex failed. Okay, vibra-tite just failed at 11 pounds. This is a close-up of what vibra-tite looks like once the nut was removed. And I'm just going to put a little bit of extra vibra-tite on there just to show you how thick and pasty this stuff is. It doesn't come out as a liquid, it's more like a paste. Of course, it's very, just smushed, almost like a jelly. I actually like vibra-tite. It seems to be very strong. It seems to provide a fairly consistent strength. Okay, the Pro Seal, once I remove the nut, you can see a little bit of chalky residue. And I shook this up, just want to let you see what this looks like when it's coming out of the container. Comes out in really nice smooth droplets. Very easy to apply, you don't have to spread it around really. You know, JB Weld just doesn't leave much of a residue. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of JB Weld on this so you can see what it looks like. Okay, it comes out as a very, very thin liquid, much thinner than Pro Seal. Permatex leaves a lot of leftovers after removing the nut, so this could be a factor for you. Okay, Loctite doesn't leave much of a residue at all either. It's very similar to JB Weld and what's left behind. So let's see what this looks like. Again, I've shaken this up quite well, so we'll see what it looks like coming out. It's a lot like JB Weld. It's a very thin material. So when it comes to making mechanical repairs, choosing the right thread locker is an important thing to do. One thing I learned today is not all thread lockers are equal. I learned a lot. I enjoyed doing this project. I'm always looking for future video ideas. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. I read just about every comment and I reply to as many people as possible. Finally, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies or manufacturers. I don't have any sponsors and I plan to keep it that way. Also, I spend a lot of time working on these videos and I try to produce a good quality video that's both entertaining and educational. But if there's something I can do better, I'd like to hear your comments because that's how I improve. So I hope I've earned a thumbs up. If not, please let me know what I can do better and I'll work on it. Just want to say thank you very much for watching the video and I look forward to seeing you next time.